Coronavirus crisis. The feared, feisty, fast-spreading coronavirus. Humankind being put on a hiatus. Some might think, could there be anything to save us? Many hearts this event has tore, while different places fight their own war. Doctors, nurses come to fight, while more must stay for another night. Coronavirus crisis. Having to stay home to fight this. Tucked inside their homes beside our devices. Some not able to buy stuff because of the prices. You know, I somehow find it strange because just a second ago we were only fighting climate change. Now we have something more dangerous, like a nightmare coming to chase us. This isn't about stock improvement. This isn't about the government. Instead, we should all focus on the lives that are living in torment. We should focus on the people who are suffering so that they can return to their loving, caring families. For all the families, I am feeling broken because their members are dying before them due to the virus they couldn't contain. Now the whole world is crying in pain. Oh, can I ever see the day? The day I say, let there be a breakthrough. Breakthroughs in all families that gather. Breakthroughs in every heart that was shattered. Breakthroughs for all lives that have mattered to all of us. As the verse in Exodus chapters 14 to 13 said, and Moses said to the people, fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord, which He will work for you today. God will help us overcome this someday. For the Lord has sent His own Son to die to save those who stay by His side. I'm gonna tell you now, the hope is not from the mask or from the vaccine or staying home in quarantine. It's from the Lord whom we cherish from within. Have faith and He will cure this pandemic and make pure of our sufferings. Believe in Him. Amidst this time of pandemic, we are faced with such difficult times. Our resources are scarce. When you think you're struggling with what you have now, don't worry. There is allocation, and it's part of economics, and it's the division and management of your limited resources. It's also a concept that helps you make good decisions, knowing what you gain and what you lose in that decision you make. Throughout the course of this pandemic, I have learned how to allocate my resources that are limited. Like, for example, one of the resources that are limited to me right now is time. I never have time to do the things that I want because I'm busy every day because of schoolworks, house chores, and more. So to solve that, I manage my time so that the things that I have to do, like schoolworks and house chores, will be done earlier in the day, and the things that I want to do, like play games or play basketball, will be done in the afternoon. Another limited resource, for example, is money. And earning money during this pandemic has been really hard for almost everyone. So that's why we have to manage our limited money and try to spend less and make good decisions with it. Economics plays a very big role in our lives, and especially during this pandemic, because we learn how to make decisions that are essential to our lives. We learn what we gain and what we lose during our every decisions. We are more aware of what things are good for us and the things that are not good for us. So as you can see, economics is really important during this pandemic because it helps us make very good, smart, educated decisions that affect our daily lives, especially during the pandemic. Speaking of the battle we're fighting with COVID-19 pandemic, we are fighting another battle. This battle is climate change, and in this part, I'm gonna give you some ways or plans to fight both climate change and coronavirus. The first plan is to always wash your hands, but try to conserve as much water as possible. By conserving water, we don't need to use as much water, so less money is spent on energy and water. Reducing the amount of energy used in pumping water reduces our carbon emissions, therefore reducing our carbon footprint, therefore helping against climate change. And don't forget to wash your hands to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and keep clean. The second is eating vegetables. By eating more vegetables, you are also reducing your carbon footprint. Research shows that meat eaters are responsible for twice as many dietary greenhouse gases emissions per day than ones who eat veggies. But of course, I'm not telling you to not eat meat anymore. I'm just telling you to reduce the consumption of it. And for COVID-19, some vegetables you take can increase your immune system, which helps a lot in fighting against the coronavirus disease. The last plan I have in mind is to find helpful recreational activities. For me, I like to plant with my grandmother, so at least I have something to do during this quarantine. Also, I can stay home as much as I can. And it also helps against climate change because the more plants that are being planted, the more fresh air that will be produced by these plants. As you can see here, for the assets of the trucking services, they spent a lot of money on salaries, rent, taxes, repair, but they only received less money. And as you can see here, they only made 175,000 pesos, while they spent 249,000 pesos. They made less due to delivery incomes, which is less than what they spent. This could lead to depletion of assets that might also lead to bankruptcy. For the liabilities, they will find it hard to pay off their debts because of the less income they will get per delivery or per month. They will also find it hard to pay off their salary of their employees due to the many debts, which can lead to employee retrenchment or possible closure of the business. For owner's equity, since they invested 2,450,000 pesos, they will find it hard to bring back the money for what they invested. For example, the company planned to return the investment in a year. For that to work, they must achieve a total of 204,166 pesos per month. But with less income and more liabilities, it is almost impossible for them to reach their goal, and so is the money withdrawn. For revenues, since it's a delivery company, due to COVID-19, the income of the deliveries are not enough to sustain the business because of the fact that they receive 3 delivery incomes for the month. The effect of COVID-19 to the expenses is that due to the many expenses they made, which is 347,000, they have less money to use to pay back the liabilities and the investments.
Dahil sa math, nakatuto akong mag-solve ng mga quadratic formula para gumawa ng isang vlog para makatuto ang mga estudyanteng walang maayos na internet connection. Sa science, nakatuto akong dapat bantayin din ang climate change habang nasa pandemya tayo. Sa English, nakatuto akong gumawa ng poem para makasulat ako ng poem tungkol sa Covid-19 upang makalat ang kamalayan. Sa CH, nakatuto ako na dapat tayong tumingin sa Diyos habang sa pandemya. Sa TLA at AP, napagtanto ako na apektado ang ekonomiya natin dahil sa Covid-19. Sa computer, gumawa ako ng poster na tungkol sa aking pagdadalawang isip kung nais akong lumabas sa bahay o hindi. Dahil takot akong magkaroon ng virus. Tungkol din ito sa hindi na magdadalawang isip kung lalabas ba o hindi at mananatili na lang sa loob ng bahay. At sa Filipino, dahil sa tahanang isang sugarol, minahal kong mas mahigit ang aking pamilya. So, by the way, may tutorial ako tungkol sa pagsosolve ng mga iba't ibang quadratic equations. At sana panoorin nyo. It's in the link down below sa description. At salamat sa pagtatanaw.